Breathe. Letting go of everything. Letting go of everything. Just letting go, letting go, letting go. Brand new moment, here and now. Ready? There. Here and now. Here and now. No past, no future. All that's left of the past is memories to be released, forgiven, let go. All that exists of the future is anticipation to be released, forgiven, let go. I find myself in the ever-present here and now, on the physical layer, physical level, as well as in the meditative mind level. I've mentioned before that it's extremely simple and very natural now for me to be able to open my mind like that, and I don't know why my head bobbles about, but it's part of it. There's many things that occur as you go through the transition, many different stages, and the body seems to react to them all in different ways. Here and now. Finger on the nose. I am one with all things. I'm not separate from anything. I'm not separate from this place, this person, this situation, this event. I'm not separate from God. Everything is included. This is an altruistic teaching. Everything is included. There is never a moment the finger comes off the nose and points at someone else until you reach enlightenment. Once you reach enlightenment, the process, forget about it. You're free. You're out of the cage. You're done. When you look upon the face of God, as somebody asked me yesterday, have you looked upon the face of God? And I said, yep. And when you look upon the face of God and you remember the truth, because truth is illumination, enlightenment is a recognition. It's not really a change. You can't change because you're eternal. The nature of the world is constant change, but in that it's also changelessness.
Look upon the face of God and you are done with religion. Look upon the face of God and you are done with learning. You are done with study and meditation and prayer. There is a caveat to that, as there is with all things. As in my own case and my own example, the experience of the illumination of my mind, and I'll talk about this in past tense, seemed to happen in 1997. And I find myself seemingly, after that time, undergoing the process of transformation of my mind. However, the fact of the matter is that experience didn't happen in time at all. It happened outside of the Alpha and the Omega. It happened in reality where I am, where God is, and therefore I am. But I find myself back, seemingly, I've got to say seemingly because it's a dream, it's just an illusion, seemingly back in the illusion after that experience occurred, which doesn't really matter. There's no necessity to be overly semantic with things like that, because the experience encompasses all of time, all of space, and every opportunity for healing pre or post the experience is similarly all-encompassing across the entire span of time and space, which brings the Alpha and the Omega, as each opportunity for healing is accomplished, brings them closer together as the need for time in which to learn the lesson is reduced, and you find yourself in the here and now, where I am. God is, and therefore I am. When that process of collapsing time, which is what the workbook of A Course in Miracles is all about, collapsing time, you're learning how to use time to your best advantage. When that is fulfilled, the necessity for the body will be completed, and you'll be able to move on in the journey of the soul to whatever's next, which will be revealed to you individually, I guess. I don't really have any information about that other than my own witness to that. But I can tell you there are quite a few different after body states. I don't want to say after death because there's no such thing, and it just raises more questions. But after body, after physical, after avatar, there are quite a few states. One of the things Jesus says in A Course in Miracles is that for a little while the body will still be seen, so that you're not shocked, you're not thrown into some kind of panic or whatever. But I've had 3 profound non-physical experiences that I would describe as being all in different realms or different states from each other, as far as levels of mind go, levels of manifestation go, dimensions go. I really don't know how to talk about it. In 2 of those, I had no body, and in 1, I was still this body, but also still here. Don't ask me how that works. That's how it is. And that's when Jesus says, for a little while, your body will still be seen. So the most important thing now for anyone on this planet in this time is mind training. It is the most important thing you can be about. Training the mind to adopt and cooperate with its new purpose, which is healing, which is forgiveness, which comes about through accepting atonement for oneself, keeping that finger on the nose. I'm not separate from this person's situation or event. Right? This is the whole teaching. Resist not evil. Don't resist it. Right? It's me. I'm the one that's given it all the meaning that it has. I say this is good and this is bad, and I suffer by my say-so. Anytime I externalize my association outward into the dream, it sets up a cycle of learning, which in this world, you learn through pain, you learn through suffering, you learn through getting the results of your own thinking, that if you value something outside of yourself, as Jesus says, anything you want in the world can and will hurt you. Psychologically, physically, all sorts of things. So the prayer for healing then is the prayer for the healing of the mind, not the healing of the body. I had somebody wrote to me today about a broken bone in their toe, in their foot. And in the course of listening to their little audio file that they sent me about their concerns about it and everything like that, and using faith, it just came to me to make sure that in this case, that person through me, that person that I am, understood and had a deep understanding that the healing requested, right, the miracle required is for the healing of the mind that believes it is a body, not for the healing of, in this case, the bone in the foot. That occurs when the mind is healed of the false ideas of the externalizing of the association of the identity that has a foot, that seems to be presenting the idea of a foot with a bone broken or otherwise. So I heal my mind of the false belief or the confused belief that I've taken up, and it's always deliberately. Right? I chose to believe I'm a body. I chose to experience separation from God, right? Of my own free will, and therefore it must be of my own free will that I choose to now accept healing as my purpose, atonement as my goal. I choose to accept atonement at one-ment. I'm not separate from this. I'm responsible for it. I chose it. I wanted it. I can't find that in my mind where I wanted a broken bone or I wanted whatever it was that's going on. But that's the premise I have to adopt. All right, if I'm responsible for my entire experience here, and I chose the nature of my experience, somewhere I chose this particular part of it. Somewhere I chose this, which is showing up as a painful catalyst to prompt me into prayer, or to prompt me to go out and find a solution in the world, whichever that will be. And I'm not saying don't do one or the other. I'm saying by the power of faith you can move mountains. But faith is its own reward, and you build your faith as you go. If you don't have the faith for something and you're on pills and medicines and whatever, then certainly continue on those until you feel strong enough in faith that no, I'm going to put it all on the line here. I'm not going to take my pills. I'm not going to do my medicine. But until that comes to you as your own moment, then just continue on with what you're doing. Right? The nature of healing, the nature of looking at the readiness or the preparedness for that level of faith is something that you can always pray about as well. Right? I don't feel like I have enough faith to take this on, to take on this broken bone or this whatever it is, this disease. I feel like I still need to grasp for my pills and my potions and everything else rather than be healed by my faith alone. And in that even, you can ask for strength. Remember, you are supported by the grace of God for everything, absolutely everything. There's no limit to the miracle, and whatever you need, it will be provided according to your own capacity to witness to that, dependent upon the power of prayer, the power of your prayer. If I'm offering a £2 prayer for a £10 problem, or I guess that'll do. But if I'm offering a weak prayer for a problem that's plaguing me considerably, then I'm probably not being honest about it. And I need to really look at that. And it's like, well, am I just offering lip service, right? Now, the fact of the matter is, God knows what you want before you ask. Right? God knows what you want before you ask, because the script is already over, the story is already done, the dream is finished. You actually are awake as you've always only ever been. But I seem to find myself here in time and space, in whatever it is, this time frame, circumscribed by particulars attributable to the body, and I need a miracle. Right? So being honest in prayer, it's like, man, this really bugs me, my foot, my bone, my whatever, really bugs me. I'm going to draw my imaginary circle, let's say right here in my living room, and I'm going to sit here until I feel like I'm connecting with that pain, connecting with the anxiety, connecting with whatever it is, and let it take me to that deepest place, because it's just energy, right? Let me feel this. Let me be honest about how I feel about it, because I'm here for healing. And if I'm not even serious about my healing, then what am I doing really? You know? So I ask in prayer, it's like, help me to find even the integrity for this prayer, Lord. I'm so muddy water with everything. Everything is corrupted by ego. Even my best attempts at prayer are sullied waters, you know. There's no clarity, there's no integrity, there's no sincerity in anything here. I'm a liar and the son of a liar. Biblical quote there. But I always come from the place of not trusting myself with my prayer, not, you know, or maybe not trusting myself, but knowing that my prayers are always less, right? Because the predominant posture of ego, the predominant posture of the mind in time and space, is that it doesn't want healing, it doesn't want salvation. It came here to die, and that's what it wants. And if I use the general population as an example that I could cross-section of people in the Course in Miracles community, which would include myself, most people just want a better life in the dream. Right? And that's being honest. It's not judgment, that's being honest. You'll get to that point and you'll be like, oh man, I don't want God. I don't want salvation. I don't want all this stuff, Jesus. I don't want to give up all the world. I just want to give up the bits I don't like. Right? Because we have too many tethers. We have too many chains in the world that keep us bound to it. And those chains and those tethers don't allow us to see the world for what it actually is, which is a slaughterhouse. Everything here dies. Our children, our families, our friends, oceans, animals. You've got to be honest. You've got to look at it. You know, honesty of prayer is probably the main fulcrum. You know, you've got a lever and you've got to pull that lever right to the end and give it everything to get that rock out of the way. It's like to remove that block, to open the heart, open the mind. That prayer's got to come from a deep place, and you use your pain for that. If it's a physical pain like a broken bone, it's like, well, so be it. If it's emotional pain, so be it. But don't try to skim off the top. You know, just accept yourself where you find yourself and how it feels and everything else like that, and allow yourself to sink into it. It's not going to be nice. You won't enjoy it. It'll bring up all the hallmarks of whatever emotion you want to attribute to it, but just see it as energy. Try to see it as energy anyway. See it as energy and just see how you go. Let yourself go. My teacher, Ted, used to say to me, man, draw that circle and stay there till you can't take it anymore. And in the moment where you think you've got to run out of that circle because you're feeling all this energy coming up and all this pain or all this whatever, just stay for one moment more. It's like so many times I applied that. In the beginning, I would always be like, no, nothing's happening. I'm out of here. This circle thing doesn't work, whatever. And I would give myself an excuse to leave the circle. I would give myself an excuse not to fall deeply into prayer. But when I did allow myself to, one particular time sitting on the beach, I drew an actual circle in the sand. And when I did allow myself to sit there to the point where my legs went pins and needles and numb, and I actually couldn't stand up when I was done. I had to crawl out of the circle and claw my way up the sandbank to stand up. But I sat there and I sat there and I sat there until I felt some kind of integrity with my prayer, and then I offered the prayer. You know, it's whatever it takes. You've got to give it whatever it takes. And I remember another time when I realized that the guidance I was receiving wasn't from Jesus. It was still heavenly. It was still divine. It was still very beneficent. But I realized that there were several, and people often tell me, oh, I've got a few spirit guides, I've got whatever. And I don't really get with all that. I don't have a big background that tells me all about spirit guides. But I receive guidance. I get guidance. Sometimes it's incredibly clear in times of more certain need, I suppose, and sometimes it seems to be just a feeling or a prompt. But sometimes it's audible words and like, who said that? You look around and it's like, oh, shit. Someone just spoke to me from out of time, like from, you know. But it became apparent to me that I was receiving guidance from like a group, like a peer group maybe or something. And I wanted, and this is in my experiences videos, you can watch this one, the council, I think I called it, the out of time council or the elders or something. And I made a circle again in the big session room. Everybody was away and it was between classes and stuff. And I got a dozen chairs and put them in a circle, put cushions on all the chairs and invited, don't ask me why I did that, invited whoever it was that was guiding me to make themselves known to me. And, oh no, it's the orb. That's right, it's the orb one, I think, my video. So the golden orb. And then I think it was the next night or the night after, I was reaching out to turn off my television beside my bed, had a little thing, and a golden orb appeared and engulfed me, just a little ping pong ball sized thing, and it came over and expanded, and the next thing you know, I was in another dimension and had no body. And there was all these beings that also had no bodies. They were just presence, pure beingness. I don't know how to talk about it. I could see them mentally, telepathically perhaps, but I didn't have any physical body, eyes or anything, but I knew they were there and they knew about me. And anyway, watch that video if you like. There's a little bit more to it than that, but it was kind of cool. But everything comes down to prayer and meditation, like through honesty, through being honest. And if I'm honest, I'm a liar. If I have to be honest about where I find myself in time and space, it's that I'm kidding myself. I don't want salvation. I don't want God. No matter how much I stamp my foot, no matter how many times I read the Course in Miracles or the Bible or anything and tell myself that I'm in service to God, the only one moment in all of this experience of time and space that I'm truly in service to God, which is the whole, is in the illumination of my mind, in my enlightenment. Everything else is a lie. Everything else is not that. That one moment, here and now. Here and now. Salvation is not beyond immediate learning. How much do you want it? How badly do you want it? Look at the world. Look at what it offers. All the pain, the suffering, all the struggle, the effort. For what? Just to die at the end? Get old and sick and die? For what? Kids the same, their kids the same, on and on and on. One day after the next, after the next. You've really got to feel that. That's what drove me to the dark night of my soul. It was purposeless. My life was purposeless. It didn't make sense. What was the point of it? And I fell to my knees in prayer one night, suicidal, with a knife. I didn't, but I was going to. Would have been my second attempt. First one put me in hospital. I fell to my knees in prayer and I asked God, I want to know what I am. I want to know what I am as spirit. I want to help my brothers. I want to help the world somehow, however that looks. You direct. I want to be useful. I want to feel like I've got an actual purpose, a reason for being here in this place. You know, so that was a horrific. I could laugh about it now, but man, it was horrific. That night was the worst night of my life. The dark night of the soul. I don't call it that for no good reason. It's dark. I was down. It was the end. I died that night, like literally, physically, mentally, emotionally, everything. Something happened. I woke up in my bed the next day. Don't know how I got to bed. Never found that knife again. It was a box cutter, like one of those Stanley knives, yellow with the snap-off blades, razor sharp. I turned the house upside down in the coming days looking for that knife. Where the hell did it go? It just disappeared. It was disappeared for me, for my own good. Nobody knocked on the door and picked me up and took me to bed, you know, like, how did I get into my bed? And in the next moment, hearing the voice from the cupboards, from the floor, from the sky, from my window, from the glass in the window, anything I focused on, the voice came from there. The mountains, the trees, the birds. And directed me to the place of my salvation, an hour and a half away, where I would be with others, studying this course, applying the principles of this course to change the nature of my life. I've told this story countless times since then. The story of the illumination of my mind and the memory of our Father. I remember God, I've seen God. The funny thing is, there was never a time I forgot. A dream doesn't change reality. I'm not a body. I love you. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for your questions and things. Like, it's my joy, my blessing to be helpful. I mean, finger on my nose, this is all my fault. It was my mad idea, my tiny mad idea that began this, and I saw it all disappear in front of my eyes, and then I disappeared. I can't deny that I'm responsible. I'm one with all things. Luckily, I have the gift of knowing, or the blessing of knowing that this is already over. You did awaken in eternity. You are whole and perfect and loved, and you never did anything wrong. All that guilt, you can just let it go. All that anger, let it go. Give it to God. The world cannot tell you who you are. I can tell you who you are, but you have to actually experience it for yourself. So you're my brother in Christ, my brother in Buddha, my brother in Krishna, my brother in universal oneness. We're all one. I love you.